Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Reverend Filo Show.
Hey, we're
2020, a new year, a new aesthetic. We have the 8-bit.
That's right.
We have the courtesy of
Oh,
Jrat.
yeah.
Courtesy of Jrat.
Hope y'all enjoy it. It's the retro.
And I don't know. I could ask you guys what you guys did on your New Year's, but I've been hanging out with you guys since then. So
Yeah.
we've pretty much been doing the same thing. What did you do on New Year's? Didn't we call you?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
called him. He was.
That's right. You were
Yeah,
sleeping.
I was asleep. Yeah. Yeah, I was asleep. Shit. I was tired, man. I was working.
We did work pretty hard that day. Kind of.
I figured.
Did we? What did we? Oh, I didn't work that day.
No.
I didn't do shit that day. Yeah, New
Yeah.
Year's Eve. What the hell did I do? I was pissed off because I didn't have internet, so I couldn't play Red Dead because that's what I would have done.
Oh yeah, for Christmas too.
Yeah. And
That's what you would have done?
that's what I would have done, but I don't know what I did. I think I watched TV. I watched Westworld. I've been watching Westworld, which is kind of like watching Red Dead.
Damn. So instead of playing Red Dead, you watch.
Yeah.
it.
You
Have
watched
you
the
guys ever
show.
seen Westworld?
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a pretty beast-ass show.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I think I've already told you the premise, though.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in another podcast.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think so. I didn't start watching it until after we did the last podcast we did,
Huh.
which was the New Year's Eve one.
Yeah. That's why we talked about it before. But anyway. This fucking-
I feel like I'm a little high right now.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
very
man.
high.
And I
That's
feel,
right. How you guys feeling about 2020?
I feel everyone's very positive about the new decade for
Yeah.
some reason.
Because everybody's trying to
J-Rod,
start off
you look
fresh.
so stoned, dude. I'm stoned as fuck too.
So do you. That's why I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, damn, if
I'll
this
tell
was
you,
You
I'll
guys
tell
are
you.
making me feel
I'll tell
stoned.
you.
I'm fucking
and I was
high
telling
too.
Felipe this too. Like, what the shit that I buy is like I buy it purposely to purposely shitty because I don't want to be too stoned. But like a lot of times the homies buy better shit than I do, and I forget. So like I'm sure your shit is a lot better. I'm sure your dad's shit is a lot better than my
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So sometimes I forget that weed's really potent. So I'll
you
smoke
just
it.
smoke it like
And
whatever.
then suddenly I'm like, oh shit, like fuck, I'm like stupid now, like,
the different grades.
and I kind of feel like that's how I feel right now. Like, man, I got too high.
That's
Wow.
all right. 20.
Anyways.
Speaking of that whole, everybody collectively is kind of happy about 2020.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of like memes. You know,
Yeah.
2020 is my year, and then there's always the other memes that are like, oh fuck everyone who's like new year, new me, bullshit. That's nonsense.
Because it really is annoying sometimes.
it is annoying.
There's especially like kids that are really young,
Yeah.
that are like barely 18, and then
Yeah.
they're putting out this shit like they know,
Yeah.
like they figured
I
out
put
life.
did you see that I put that on my Instagram?
Yeah, I
That
saw.
I put something like that, and like I always think that's funny because like a lot of people will hit me up and be like, "Damn, bro, like what you so pissed off for, like this and that."
And so that's why you were like, you don't hit me up.
Yeah, I said that. I was like, don't hit me up either, because I don't feel like I'm angry. I feel like I just like certain things I see and I have certain thoughts, and I feel that if I put them out, they'll come off as funny, but sometimes they come off as angry.
No, yeah,
apparently.
they just make you sound like the angry boomer, as they call it.
But like
That's what they call it?
Yeah, the boomers. They call
No.
it.
boomers, okay,
Yeah.
boomers.
Angry
I'm not a
boomer.
boomer though.
No, I know,
A
but
boomer
yeah.
is like a
Well-
baby boomer. Who's a boomer? Like, are our parents
Yeah.
boomers? I don't even think our
Nah.
parents are
No, I don't
boomers.
even
Grandparents.
No,
Our
yeah.
grandparents are
Yeah.
boomers.
Well, no,
I
but
guess.
that's the insult now. Is you come off as angry or complain about something.
That's like the old guy now.
Our
the
parents
boomer.
are like Generation X. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, like 80s, early 80s, and like 90s kind of thing.
No, this is more like 70s.
Oh,
I think,
okay.
60s.
I guess
70s.
boomers are like post World War II.
Yeah, right? Because that's
Yes.
baby boomers are the ones that had, they were the babies after the men came back from war,
Yeah.
right?
I guess
Mhm.
so.
Something
Huh.
like that.
And
Interesting.
then there was like the next one. They were like, fuck, we gotta get
I
the
guess
kids
that would
in
make
before.
my uncle a boomer because he was born in 1955.
Mm.
But then my dad was born 10 years later, so that kind of puts him slightly at the because that's we're kind of like on the cusp. When it comes to millennials,
Yeah.
like we're
Yeah.
on the cusp. Like we barely make it. Like, and we're still like a lot older than most millennials. Quote unquote.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what do you think a boomer is exactly? Like by definition, like
I don't fucking know.
Look, it says right here. My bad.
Okay.
It says baby boomers were born between 1944 and 1964.
Oh yeah. See, so my
So-
dad was born in 1966, so he was on the cusp. He just missed the baby boomer generation.
Yeah, and then it's Generation X that was born 1965 to 1970. Now,
Yeah,
what
see-
generation are we? I'm 92.
So Generation X after that becomes millennials,
oh.
no, then it's Generation Y,
which is
which is
never even
like
heard of that.
between they would probably be so it says millennials were born in 1980 and between 1994.
Oh,
See, so that's
shit.
us. I was born in 1989. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys don't have to give your age if you don't want to.
Fuck, I was
Ah,
born
92.
in 83, man.
83?
So fuck.
See, so like again, like well, not even like I guess for millennials, we're kind of we're like dead. Me and you
Yeah.
at least.
Well, what's millennials? What does it
It's
end at?
1980 to 94, right?
Millennials, yeah, 1980 to 94.
Yeah, that's kind of. Well,
Yeah.
I'm at the end of that. I'm
Yeah, I'm
last
like
year.
almost smack dab in the middle. J-Rad, you're kind of more in the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
Fuck.
So we're
So
millennials?
am I?
So we're
am-
millennials, like
am I-
dead, like full on.
But
I'm a
like
complainer?
I'm an old millennial, I guess.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, I always thought, cause see, like now, anyone born after 2000, I think, is Generation Z.
Yeah.
I see myself more of a Generation Y.
Yeah, what is Generation Y? What years are those? I never even heard of them.
Man, I don't know. I was just trying to read shit off the
Oh.
fly, and then
Yeah, go for it. I mean, that's what
skipped
we have
some
editing
shit,
for.
I don't know.
We can cut out the editing.
Let me see. It says.
Well, it's funny, like, cause they're like,
Oh, so Generation Y is are millennials. That's what it.
oh,
That's
so
what
they're the
they-
same
I wonder why I feel
thing.
like that.
Oh, I was like Generation
Yeah.
Y.
Like,
I was
nah, I'm
like,
Y, motherfucker.
I'm Y. I'm not a millennial. I'm a Generation Y.
Excuse-
Actually, I don't
Oh my God.
prescribe to the millennial moniker.
It's too mainstream
It's
for
too
me.
mainstream for me. It's just like
That's crazy though.
Oh my God.
millennials. So then, I guess Generation Z comes after 95. Then 95 and after. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Mhm.
Oh.
And Generation Z.
See, it's funny because
Sammy, what year are you? 2000.
oh yeah, you're
2000.
full on Generation
Yeah.
Z. See, like my brother was born in 97,
Uh-huh.
and like I always thought that to myself. Like I often feel like me and him come from two different generations, and I guess we.
And your
kinda
brother,
do.
what year is he?
97.
Oh.
So he's Generation Z.
Yeah.
You know,
I wonder what. So, are our kids?
nah, like your
They're
kids and like
Generation
my
New
Z?
generation.
I
Yeah,
don't know
no.
what,
I would.
what's the name of
I would
their-
have to imagine
gonna
it's
be
every.
their
It sounds like
generation?
it's every 10 years, 10 to 15 years. So like my niece was born in 2017, so she's beyond. She's not Generation Z.
She's beyond.
She's beyond that.
So it's I think
Generation
it's-
beyond?
It's every 20 years. I think
She's
that's-
generation ain't got long to live. Fucking Earth's about to burn up.
There you go. Aren't you just a pocket full of sunshine?
I'm sorry. That was kind of no, like that's kind of like. Isn't like everyone's kind of like the joke now, like the Earth is on fire.
All those World War III
No,
things.
man, literally, this shit is on fire right
No,
now.
like, yeah,
Australia's
on
This shit
fire.
sucks.
Dude, there's a story that family they were in a movie theater. No, families in a movie theater, about 200, 300 people inside a movie theater with the fire surrounding them. So they stood there for 6 days.
What? And
Yeah.
how did Australia
Fuck.
catch on fire? It just
You know, how do things catch on fire?
I don't
They're
know.
Fucking dry.
I guess.
Fuck.
They're dry, and I guess
Yeah.
it gets hot enough to where shit.
Or it could have been
And then
some
also
kind
wind.
of controlled thing.
Damn.
Who knows?
Didn't
Control,
you
like
say that
arson?
there's like I remember J-Rad told me about this, and there is some pictures from space. Now I don't know how true it is. I don't really like to believe conspiracy theories, but there's some pictures they got from the sky, and it looks like a straight line. So J-Rad was showing me that, telling me that there may be like this controlled fire where they can do from a satellite, and they can shoot like a laser down
Mhm.
and start the fire.
I think yeah.
And there's pictures of like
Because I mean, like, there's the photos from Australia that from space.
yeah.
Like the whole fucking continent is
Yeah.
on fire. I'm like, how could that be?
Yeah, well, I don't know. How big is Australia? I mean,
Australia is a
dude,
continent. It's one of the 7 continents.
yeah.
So it's
big.
fucking humongous.
Huge.
Sorry.
okay,
pretty
all right.
huge.
Okay, dude.
I mean, it's just crazy to think it's like either it's being overblown or
Yeah.
it's not being overblown.
Yeah.
Both are bad, really
Yeah.
bad.
Well, anyway, so back to the family. So they were stuck in there for 6 days, and the only reason they were safe, even though the fire was like around the movie theater, was they were in a part of the area where firefighters like were concentrated there to keep that area
Oh,
safe.
okay.
Yeah, so they were able to stick it out in the movie theater, and apparently, I don't know why this is, but there was 2 movies playing, and they had them in a loop for 6 days. And
Was it the Towering Inferno?
No, it was it was Happy Feet and
Feet?
Frozen.
Happy Feet and Frozen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow,
At least
it's
there's some
ironic,
irony
huh?
to that story. Yeah. That's fucking hilarious.
Shit,
I
my
mean, that's
fault.
not funny. Actually, Australia's on fire. That's insane. And then what's crazy too is like, it's been really like I don't know who I told, but I was like the last 2 winters here, this winter and last year's winter,
Sorry.
have been so fucking cold. What happened?
that?
This
This motherfucker farted.
Oh, the dog.
The dog.
I smelt it,
you
man.
kicked
And
her
I thought
out.
it was
I
one
did.
of you guys. I didn't want to point it out.
I can't smell anything, but it
On
probably hasn't
camera,
reached here
bad.
yet. It's bad, huh?
Yeah.
dude.
It just smells.
God damn it! Stop the podcast.
All right, you were saying sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying the last 2 LA winters have been pretty brutal. Like they've been pretty fucking cold.
Yeah, actually.
And like, woo, there it is. And
Bad.
man, Roomba, what the fuck?
yeah, dude. What are you eating?
I know. What'd you feed her, bro?
Yeah.
Nah, dude, that shit is so fucking cold.
It's cold?
to the point where in the house you can see like the mist. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you
So,
talk
like,
to people from
outside.
like the Midwest or something, they probably laugh at us, like to say
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's like 40,
That's nothing.
like 43, 41." And it's like, but fuck, around here that's fucking cold. And I'm like, it seems to be getting colder and colder. So I don't know.
Didn't you say you had a conversation with your sister where you're like, she was talking about global warming, right?
Well, no, I told her.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, can you believe like it's crazy snowing like in the fucking up to 5, what's it called? The Grapevine,
The Grapevine, yeah.
Palmdale, but I'm talking about like bunch of snow.
Well, the Grapevine has it has history of
Right, getting
being
snow,
snowed
but I
out,
mean, it
yeah.
was just, I don't know, it
Or
just
snowed
looked
in.
crazy. It looked like Colorado, like,
Yeah.
so much snow.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
Like, what didn't it snow in Alhambra last year?
I don't remember. Did it?
It was
Yeah, I remember it snowed in Alhambra.
Well, plus, like, there's snow, I think, in, like, Lancaster and Palmdale, like, pretty close places that are not that far from Los Angeles. And I was like, man, I bet give it 5 or 10 years, it might start snowing right here in Lake. Like, you never. And she goes, and she goes, well, that's not good because that's not supposed to happen. And I go, well, the Earth's gonna do whatever the fuck the Earth wants to do, so it's bad for us. It snows, and okay, it snows in LA now. Oh well.
Yeah, the Earth is just trying to fix itself.
Yeah, the Earth is like.
Yeah, I feel like once it starts snowing in LA, it's gonna fucking snow forever. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be like
it's
an ice
gonna
age.
be like, some
Damn,
shit.
we're
man.
gonna-
And we'll have to hunt caribou.
I mean, it'll hail and shit.
There's no caribou.
It'll
in
start.
here.
fuck.
It'll probably be hail and
We'd have
stuff
to,
like
dude.
that.
Honestly, if it snowed here, like let's just say, it snowed, like oh shit, a snowstorm.
uh-huh.
The whole city will shut down. Like, no, I don't know what to do. We don't have snow plows.
Yeah.
A bunch of animals will probably die. We'll be all right, but who knows? Who knows how it'll affect like travel for one thing. Like the trains will have to shut down. Everything will be shut down.
Man,
We're gonna have to move down south to the border.
South of the border.
That's
it'll be even
the
worse.
equator will be
'cause
warmer.
I mean, what would
fucking
happen?
Homes, your house will deteriorate. The shit's not built.
it's not
for
built
the
for
fucking
snow.
weather.
And then like, what about like even say it snowed and like, oh shit, the roads are snowed. We can't get around. Everyone's snowed into their house. They're gonna like either we have to wait for the snow to melt, or they might have to like actually import like snow machines, that they have like New York City and shit to like.
Man, I think.
Yeah.
That would take tons of money though. That would be like a natural disaster.
Then
I
I
was just
say
thinking too far ahead. Like,
no, but that would be like a natural disaster. Like we would be stuck because we would not be prepared for it, and we would all be fucked.
Then we start investing now.
Into
in
snowplows?
Just us though. Just us. Just
Yeah,
us.
and then just take it over.
You know what? Buy a
Come into the
snowplow,
game.
park it back here, and just keep it maintained. Don't drive it ever.
They called me crazy.
They call me crazy.
Yeah,
Well, now
kinda.
this fucking shit. We'll be heroes, dude.
Fuck. We'll be heroes when we're like 50.
How much for a
60 years
snowplow?
old.
What, like
Shit,
what, 20
I'm
grand?
not a snowplow expert, but
Google
let's see, J-Rad, you mind Googling that right now?
Let me
How
see.
much-
How much for
snowplow?
a snowplow?
And if it's reasonable, I'll
Yeah.
probably buy it.
All right, well,
Couldn't
you guys
couldn't
thinking
hurt.
new
Mr. Plow.
or used?
That's my name. That name again is Mr.
New or
Plow.
used?
You know,
Let's do used because
Used.
we pop.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We can't buy new.
Alright,
I ain't looking
so-
for a car payment.
so
I'm looking for cash.
there's this shit that you put on top of a Jeep or some shit like that. That
Oh,
shit
like
costs
a thing?
1,500.
Okay, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
See, now that we can do.
But now we need to buy
Yeah.
Now
the
we need
thing
to get a
and the Jeep.
You can get one at Lowe's for 600.
Oh,
a Jeep?
okay.
No,
A Jeep?
just the
Lowe's
apparatus.
sells Jeeps now?
No, yeah. So
show it to the camera. You think you can show it to the camera?
Oh shit!
I'll stick it up. I'll stick it up later.
Yeah, we can
throw that up.
We can throw that in there.
Yeah. So, it's not gonna snow in LA.
Yeah,
I mean, it could.
I feel like this is like
well, you know what's funny though is that last summer the fucking and this right before winter there was a fucking crazy fire here too, wasn't there?
Yeah. That's another thing too is like,
and that shit was controlled too. I feel like that
the
shit,
laser,
that laser beam, man. I'm telling you from space.
Look,
do you
ever think to yourself that you're like overly paranoid?
No, not anymore.
Do you think everyone else is stupid and you're the only one?
No, I just think that some people may be ignorant to certain things.
For sure.
And or they don't see things the way that I see them. So.
I get and also too, a lot of it is like, you know what? Fuck it. Like,
oh, shit, my bad.
Like, let's say everything you say is true. Like, what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, rise up.
J-Rad could dance around us laughing and say, I told you so. I told you so.
I guess that's about it.
But that's not what I want. Sometimes, that there's even like that little fear of, not wanting the things to come true subconsciously. Like, there's a little bit of me that's just like, fuck, these are conspiracy theories and shit like that. But I already believe it. So if it would come true, it would just be like
wow, I was right.
Yeah,
okay.
I wouldn't go fucking crazy, and I wouldn't go and kill myself when I seen this shit because other people would probably be shell shocked.
That show Westworld is that's pretty much the premise of it. Is like the robots realizing that they're in a simulation, and like it's like their programming is getting all fucked up, and it's a lot deeper than that. But that's like the premise, and I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like sometimes things happen to you that are like so coincidental that you start to it makes sense as to why people would like believe like
in a
higher power or aliens or whatever, because like it's like when someone says they're gonna quit drinking, right? They stop drinking, right? Okay, I'm gonna quit. They're motivated. They're ready to roll. They stop drinking, and then 2 days later, their boys are like, "Yo, we're gonna go to fucking Vegas and get wild and this and that. All expenses paid. You know what? You know what I'm saying? Like, it somehow gets handled to you on a silver platter, and it's like, is this a coincidence?
Or is it the devil?
Is this a test?
Is
this a test? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, it's almost like whoever is controlling us or like, watching, you sort of like overseeing our plane, whether
like it's
it be
a fucking
aliens,
game. I'm gonna throw
but
this.
It's like they don't necessarily control us, but they manipulate us by giving us choices and free will, the ability to make those choices.
You ever heard of this book called Screw Tape Letters?
No.
Have I ever talked about this shit?
Yeah, I've talked to you about it before.
That shit is crazy.
It's so it's this book that supposedly the author said he found the letters, and it's this demon teaching another demon how to be a demon. So it's a veteran demon teaching
it's like a how-to.
Uncle Screw Tape.
Yeah. It's a book?
Yeah, it's called the Screw Tape Letters. I think it was written by C.S. Lewis.
Diaries, no? Was it?
C.S. Lewis, the guy who did Alice in Wonderland.
No,
that's Carol Lewis.
No, the guy who did Golden Compass.
Oh, okay.
And Chronicles of
Lewis Carroll.
Narnia.
Lewis Carroll, that guy's name is. Not Carol Lewis.
Carol Lewis.
Yeah, so...
Carol Lewis.
Carol Lewis, the famous author.
And wasn't he a boxer?
Yeah, no, that was who was that? I was thinking that too.
Joe Lewis.
There you go.
So
Joe
fucking
Lewis.
this fool. I think one of the characters' name is Wormwood.
Is this a fiction or nonfiction?
This is
to him. It's nonfiction, but it's supposed to be fiction.
To who?
To
the guy who wrote it.
Yeah.
So he said that he found letters that are supposedly a veteran demon teaching a new demon how to quote unquote get its wings.
Yeah. So a lot of it talks about, and it's not really like the demon possessing. So apparently we all are assigned a demon. So like we have our own, and then depending on our personality and what we do and what we choose in our daily life, like our life choices, the demon always tries to get us to make the wrong choice.
Mm-hmm.
So the older demon usually it tells him to manipulate. The humans are easy to manipulate. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is just bring up. So if they're a jealous person, try and make them jealous about something. If they're if they're this, try and get them to do this. So it's an interesting read.
Yeah.
What's it called? The Dead Sea Scrolls?
No.
It's got
Screw Tape Diaries.
Screw Tape I think it's called the Screw Tape Letters.
Oh, Screw Tape
Have
Letters.
you ever heard? There's my buddy told me about this. It's a book by this guy who was like, I don't know if he was like a Blood or a Crip, and he wrote this book, and he was pretty much saying how like all these gangster rappers who claim to be like down for their like from these sets and this and that they're not really like gangster, and like real gangsters like are straight up murderers and this and that. And he pretty much said like I was a real gangster, and like this is if you were really what the rapper said they were, like this is what you were really doing. And it's just like about how he committed like all these murders and like
fuck.
Have you ever heard of that?
Nah.
And he calls out like all like NWA and all these people saying like, oh, those fools are just putting it on for their for the music show. He goes, this is if you're really the set that they're claiming or whatever. This is really this is what you're putting in real work, and then he pretty much.
I mean, come on.
My buddy told me about that book. He told me about it. I'm gonna get the
name.
The name. That's always I like books like that about like crazy shit that went down, and it's like tell all,
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be realistic. That's not marketable if they're gonna be killing people. I mean,
well, duh. Yeah. It'll be on trial every fucking year.
But, I mean, so it's. I mean, if you believe that if you're someone who believes that a rapper is actually gangster, like or whatever.
It's like wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like wrestling. It's entertainment.
It's just a show. It's just it's some of the times it's a gimmick. I don't know. I can't speak on fucking. Like all of the rappers, because some rappers
some
that
of them were legit. And those fools are probably dead. Most of them.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah.
Like I know, like Tupac and like Biggie, like those fools did kind of put in work. Maybe not during their rap career, but.
I feel like Tupac was also like an actor too. Like he was trained in like the performing arts.
Yeah, didn't he go to like a very like renowned like art school?
Yeah, I think he went to Juilliard.
Yeah.
So.
Don't mean he's not hood.
But yeah, exactly.
He did ballet. Don't mean he could fuck you up.
Hey, Van Damme said if you could do a fucking ballet workout, that you could do any workout ever, like any professional athletic workout. He said ballet's the hardest.
Yeah, but then everybody knows his little favorite move is that little kickboxing hand, the little kickboxing shuffle and shit.
Van Damme.
Yeah. Or Van Damme's favorite move is the splits. Like every fucking movie, this fool's always doing the splits.
Hey, it's hard to do.
Shit. Yeah, I mean.
But yeah, dude, it's just like, all right, we get it, dude. You can do the splits. Like,
it was cool the 10th time.
We got it.
Then you guys see
you
guys see when he was doing the splits on the fucking cars on the
on the semis.
Yeah. And like, weren't they like backing up?
Yeah.
Fucking Van Damme. Van Damme.
No, they were in they were going fucking like full force, like full speed.
Yeah, they were
on
driving.
The highway.
Yeah, they were driving
on the mirrors. He was on the mirrors of two of them, just like separating, and then as they separated, he did the split.
And this was from. It has to be an action sequence.
It was a commercial, I believe.
A while ago.
Recent?
Nah,
he did those Tostito commercials. Tostitos.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
That was recent.
What?
Did you ever see? There's a Van Damme movie called JCVD. And it's about him where he plays himself, and he gets caught up in like this. It's a bank hostage.
He has like long hair. Like,
no. It's like recent. He plays himself, and he's in Belgium, and he's just like a regular actor guy, and it shows him how he's kind of like falling on hard times.
Doesn't he do it? Isn't that? Well, I don't know if it's the same thing, but there is an Amazon original.
No, that's different.
Okay.
This came before that. This is a straight up drama where he plays himself. And a fictionalized version of himself, but it's supposed to be kind of like mirrors his real life, where he was going through like a custody battle for his daughter, and he was like he was a cocaine addict for a while. And he was getting off that, but because of that, he was losing custody of his daughter. So he was in court. Anyways, he gets caught up in it's a sad movie. Like he can't get any movie roles. There's no action. Well, there's a little bit of action because what happens is. He's like hard time on money. He's not getting any movie roles, and then he goes into a bank, and he's in Belgium, and like he's like the biggest thing to come out of Belgium. So he's like fucking, huge. You know, he's like a superstar, national treasure. And the whole movie, most of the movie is in French. It's not in English. There's a couple scenes in English where he's talking to his agent, but the whole movie's in French.
Man, what's your favorite fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme movie?
Man, Bloodsport's good.
Yeah,
Street Fighters. I have like a soft
Street
spot
Fighter?
for Street Fighter.
A lot of people say it was so bad that it makes it good.
Yeah, there's another movie I used to watch a lot. I don't know if I just owned it or if it was on TV a lot, but there was one he did with Rob Schneider called Knockoff.
Rob Schneider.
It's called Knockoff, and it's like he like infiltrates this like mob operation where they sell like knockoff jeans.
Wow. Nah. What about Universal Soldier?
With Wesley Snipes.
No. Dolph Lundgren. I think.
Oh, Universal Soldier, and then they did a sequel with Kurt Russell called Soldier. Remember that one?
No.
That was supposed to be like a sequel, but then they couldn't get Van Damme to come back.
Roadhouse.
No, that's Patrick Swayze.
That's Patrick Swayze. I always get them mixed up.
No, is that Patrick Swayze?
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze's Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Roadhouse?
Dude.
I always used to get him confused with Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas is the old actor.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a Spartacus, and he was Ben-Hur.
I saw Roomba, get over here.
I mean Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, yeah.
But, like, wait,
you know what's a good Kurt Russell movie? Escape from New York. That's a great movie. Great sci-fi, and it has great
Did you ever watch
visual
the second
effects.
one?
Escape from L.A.?
The first one, the second one is the one I saw it first.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen the second one.
I saw it in like sometime in the 90s, and my dad told me, he goes, this is actually a sequel to an older one. And I was like, wow. And then I saw it. I didn't, for some reason, like at that time, it was kind of hard to come by. Like they didn't have it in video stores, and like, streaming didn't exist, or the internet we didn't really have the internet in our house at that time, so it was like kind of.
If we did, it was dial-up.
Yeah, it was like Windows 98.
So you had to like find that shit, hidden
we
gem
never
in
saw
life.
it. We never saw it. My dad, he was gonna just go try and find some obscure ass movie, But then one day it popped up on Netflix a couple years back, and I was like, and I watched it. Oh man, I was like, man, it's so good, so much better than the second one.
You were like, oh.
I was like, wow, this is amazing. But that was right. What's cool is it has a lot of special effects, and this, I think it was like 1980 it came out.
What I like about those movies too, like the practical effects they use for like the blood and stuff, and like how they use and they show. When I was watching Roadhouse, there's this like obscure fucking reference they make to like how he got famous, Dalton. How like they're like, oh, why is he so famous? I thought he'd be a lot bigger. And there's this one guy who's like in the bar when he first shows up, and he's like, yeah, I heard he killed a man with his bare hands. What? And they're like, ripped his throat right out of his neck. and then that's all you hear about it, the whole movie. And then you just go through the whole movie just watching him do the bar thing, and then
spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh yeah, towards the end. Ethan and I was watching with my son, and we're both watching this, and it gets to the part where he's fighting, the guy. And they're fighting in the river, and then eventually it just gets like really like tense, and they're just like, oh, and they're looking at each other, and me and Ethan are like both like, oh shit, and it was almost like we were talking to each other without talking to each other. Me and Ethan, we like,
you guys knew,
like we knew this was gonna happen. Yeah, so we both kind of looked at each other, and we just like we looked back at the screen and just went, God, and he grabbed his throat and he ripped it out. We were both, and then as soon as that happened, me and Ethan were like, oh,
yeah. Dude, I've said it before. I love practical. Like, if there's anything I love about the '80s, it's the fucking effects, all pre-CGI. But one for Escape from New York, there's there's a lot of good like miniature stuff, like miniature shots of like New York City and like. But there's one shot where they're in a copter and they're like scanning the city, and there's this like it's supposed to be a computer generated picture. A 3D picture of the city, and it's like, and it's like a thing, and like what it is it's like, it's just the buildings, but it's just like just the shapes
framing,
of the framing of the building.
Like
so it's just it's just a framing of picture. It's all black, and then there's like pink and red, and it's just supposed to be this, but it's not computer generated. They completely did it via practical effects. So it's supposed to be a computer, but it's not a computer. So what they did is they built a miniature. When I say miniature, it's fucking huge. But like of New York City, it's like the size, like the size, a mini set, like the size of this garage. But it's of New York City, like the landscape, right?
Shit.
And then they built it. I don't know if they built it like super detailed, because what they did is they just built like the outers of the buildings, and then they covered it in pitch black like sheeting or like whatever. They covered it in black, but tight so that you still get the corners of the buildings. And then they put it in an all black room, so it's all black. And then what they did is they outlined all the buildings with like fluorescent like lights.
Damn.
And then they just filmed it, and they just went around and they filmed it. So it's like the camera, you're getting this like 3D. Yeah. And it's a really cool effect, and it
like
looks
an aerial effect.
Yeah, and it looks like early like computers, like because this came out in 1980, I think, and it looks like a computer you would see from like the late 80s or like early 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's not a computer, so I don't know. That blew my mind when
I mean, imagine how much that would have cost them to do that CGI at the time.
CGI didn't even really exist. Yeah,
it was all special effects.
And that movie had a budget of like $5,000. It's something really small, like $8,000 or something. Like it was a small ass budget, but man, the effects are so fucking good, and it's a good movie.
What movie was this?
Escape from New York, starring Kurt Russell. How the fuck did we even get here? Oh, we're talking about that Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yeah.
No, so real quick, so that movie, so he gets caught in a bank heist, right? And then it turns into a hostage situation.
Fuck,
and then
we're going back to that. All right.
Yeah.
To bring it full circle.
Yeah. And it's just a good movie. I think it's on Amazon. It's called JCVD, which is his initials. Yeah. It's a good watch. And it's like you kind of have respect for Van Damme. You're kind of like, oh shit, this guy can actually act. He wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of movies that that are coming out on Netflix, like I watched another movie. See, the great thing about Ethan getting older now he's gonna be 6 in March, and we were able to like sit down and watch movies now. So I'm showing him I showed him the Roadhouse movie, which I don't think I probably shouldn't have showed it, but he sat there with me. And we watched it, but
it was rated R.
Yeah. But anyway,
unless with the parent.
Yeah. That's true, Hans. No one under 17 without guardian.
So we're good.
We're good.
But we watched Men in Black because they just put the first
great.
2 on Netflix again, for the new year or whatever. And we watched it, and man, like I forgot how good it was. And I only wanted him to watch it because I liked it as a kid. So I was like, all right, let's watch it again. But I hadn't watched it in years. So when I watched it with him, I forgot how good Will Smith and what's his name? Tommy Lee Jones. Were just that chemistry they had together was so fucking good, dude. That movie was great.
It was. Tommy Lee Jones is actually like low key. When I watched it, like when I was a kid and it came out, like Will Smith was like the star of the movie. Like everything he did was hilarious. I remember like at school, like people
See that Will Smith movie?
Yeah, well,
and honestly though, going back and watching it, he was funny, but it wasn't like it wasn't like hilarious.
Here's what I was gonna say. When I was a kid, I remember like at school, like kids would imitate Will Smith and it was all funny. But now as an adult, I watched it. I realized Tommy Lee Jones is really the funny one because he plays it so straight that it's fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
Because he has that dry humor.
Yeah, exactly. He just that's like an old comedy troupe, like the straight guy, the guy who's, and then the guy who's wacky who plays off of him. That's like goes back all the way to like vaudeville and shit.
Yeah, like fucking grumpy old man.
Yeah, like Laurel and Hardy, fucking even the Three Stooges. You have Mo, who's like the leader, who's like mean, and then you have the 2 other ones who are stupid. Oh man, good stuff. And then Men in Black 2 was good too. Yeah. Tommy Lee Jones and fucking what's his name? Will Smith.
Watch out, he's a Balchinian. Oh. That part was funny as fuck.
What about the Bad Boys for Life, the 3rd one? Did you guys like the Bad Boys movies? I used to like them.
I remember watching.
As a kid, I liked
2.
them.
As a kid, I liked them.
I saw the first one recently, and I was like, man, this is such a '90s movie. Like, it's crazy what passed for like big budget action back in like the early '90s compared to like something like Infinity War or even like Endgame, where it's just like this humongous universe.
That's more like science fictional action.
No, right. That's true. That's true.
Damn. Speaking of big budget films and stuff, did you guys hear about the Golden Globes?
I didn't watch it.
Well, I didn't watch it either, but there's like the Ricky Gervais hosted the Golden Globes,
right?
And he came out and like started just talking shit about just about like the superficial celebrities and how they act and how they try to act. He pretty much told everybody, in a nutshell, he told everybody to keep their fucking political ideas or opinions to themselves, because he said celebrities are so fucking untouched. Like they're not in touch with society,
with reality,
and everything.
Okay.
So he pretty much was talking shit. But one of the things I wanted to bring up was he brought up the whole Epstein thing, And
the Jeffrey Epstein thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he brought up and he said something about I forgot how he set up the joke, but what he said basically was, everything's fake, just like Jeffrey Epstein's suicide. And then everybody was like, oh. Ooh. And then he goes, oh, shut up. He goes, oh, what? Because he's your guys' friend? I forgot. He told everybody, he's like, oh, I forget that he's all your guys' friend.
Ooh.
And yeah, dude, he was like
he was brutal, huh?
Yeah.
You know what would be crazy? If like in next week you hear on the news like breaking news, Ricky Gervais found dead from a pill overdose.
And it's funny because there's a lot of comments. I saw this on iFunny, and when I went to the comments, a lot of people were saying, "Man, rest in peace, Ricky Gervais. He was just found in his after the Golden Globes. He was just found in his room, suicide, hung himself, a bunch of different shit, dude."
But fuck, I feel like that shit is also misdirection too.
Right, like it's
causing
planned.
a controversy.
Where we're looking and we're like, media, wow, right.
Yeah, and something else is going on that we're not paying attention to.
I feel that. Yeah. I feel that.
And then they just barely released the
that's right. I was gonna watch
autopsy
fucking Jeffrey
photos.
Epstein?
Yeah, they released the photos.
So what happened?
I didn't get a chance to look at them yet because I think I just found out about it this morning, actually.
I mean, to be honest with you, like I don't even really know. Like all I know is that he got busted for what?
From what I know, he had an island, and he had like a lot of celebrities and like high-powered officials that would go and visit, and they would take like private jets with him. One of the biggest ones that everybody knows about is
he's
Clinton.
Like a movie producer, like a movie mogul?
No. He got his money. A lot of people question the way he got his money, but he did something in the stocks, and then people were like, it was almost like a gift. Like they would give him money to put in stocks, and then so that supposedly that's how he got his money. But a lot of people were saying that they was just like. They were paying him like off extortion. He was extorting celebrities and high power. That he had this like this diary with shit in there on people, and that's why they were doing him favors. But on his island, from what I know and from some shit that I searched up, a lot of the locals from that island that he lived on said that they would always see like little girls that like the youngest like 11, 12, 13-year-olds going in there, and then sometimes they wouldn't see them come out.
Who would say this? Local island?
Local
I feel like he had something to do with Pizzagate also, right? And all of that. And then that's why in his house they found a...
I don't mean to laugh. I was just like...
They found
I'm sorry.
I don't mean fucking Bill Clinton with the Monica Lewinsky dress.
Yeah, they said that he had a lot of dirt on people, and that's why he was alive, and he had this diary. So a lot of people said... Right. The only reason why...
Real quick, I don't mean to laugh, but I don't know why when I'm starting to get, like, nervous. Talking about it.
We're so low on the tone pole.
That's true, huh? Let them talk. Let them spread rumors amongst the peasants. You were saying?
Anyway, so his death... That's why his death is so controversial. Because... of where he was kept, he was in a like a high security cell. He was under suicide watch. He had 24-hour surveillance plus a guard right outside his his cell or whatever it was, and he was still. They said like it didn't make any sense how he was able to kill himself and how they weren't able to stop him from doing it.
I heard that they said that whoever the guard was. That he fell asleep or something?
He fell asleep.
They're gonna supposedly they were gonna try to.
But they had surveillance on them.
Prosecute him too, or something like that. That they were gonna try to convict him for something. I don't know what.
They had surveillance on him 24/7. They don't have footage of him hanging himself.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Like, what happened? Why if there's 24 hours? So
it's just all.
I think it might be. It just might be outside.
You know what it is, man. You fuck with the big ones, they fucking take you out.
Honestly, dude, I mean, I wouldn't have no doubt that if you have enough money and power,
for sure,
there's most definitely that I am almost certain that people in high power can just pay to kill somebody. Because why wouldn't
I was listening to Stern and he mentioned like a Middle Eastern prince recently who like kill somebody and that he just got away with it.
No, okay, yeah. So everybody forgot. I'm glad you brought that up. Everybody forgot about this, but there was an American fucking journalist that went over to Saudi Arabia and he was protesting their ideals and and how they don't allow give their people freedom of speech. And he was over there and he walked into this building because I think he was reporting out there. Walked into a building, never came out, and then they found him dead inside. And they showed two guys walking in there. Like after obviously the hitman, and then they walk out, And so, everyone knew Saudi Arabia, the prince ordered that hit on this guy. But because, the U.S. has really good relations with them, it was almost like, oh, well,
it's just one guy who's out,
Yeah. It's fucked up, too.
Because I was going to say, like, isn't that, like, shouldn't we be invading Saudi Arabia instead of Iran?
But I think, I don't know if he was
oops. We obey you, oh master overlords. We're not worthy.
Wasn't that dude like wasn't he like Palestinian or he was something?
He was
Saudi, right? Because
he was. I think neutral. He was an immigrant, right? And he came over here. He was a U.S. citizen.
He was a U.S. citizen.
For
sure. Okay,
but he was also a journalist.
Right.
And then
those damn journalists.
Yeah, I remember reading something about that, but
yeah.
You just
they stirring up the pot.
They stopped talking about shit.
Yeah, remember WWE? Like that happened right when WWE was gonna have that Royal Crown event. It was one of their new pay-per-views.
This was recent because this was relatively
when
recent,
when that happened, I think it was the beginning of last year, something like that. The screen right over there, the screen.
Oh, no, we're good.
So it happened like right before the events, And so a lot of people were protesting, saying, WWE shouldn't be over there. They shouldn't do it.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that.
Yeah, and then apparently when they went over there, I think they got stuck in the airport. Sammy, do you know anything about that? I remember you were talking.
They got stuck in the airport?
Yeah.
I don't remember why. I think it's because they didn't want to pay them.
Oh, okay. So
Sammy, our computer
So they were
monitor.
blackmailed?
Yeah. So essentially what happened was they kept them in the airport, and they had like guards, like a bunch of like soldiers blocking the airport, not letting the WWE superstars off of the plane or like out of the airport, something like that. And there was like a fee that they were telling him. I don't know, because some of the wrestlers were kind of protesting, the situation, and they like, I know CM Punk was one of them, but CM Punk, I think he's an I was actually talking to Francisco from work about this, because he's a big like WWE fan. Yeah, and Jose Garibaldi too. Yeah. By the way, DJ Gotti, he listens to this.
DJ Gotti. Yeah. That's fucking funny. I don't know why that's funny, but that's funny.
So anyway, I was talking to them about this a little bit, and they told me that CM Punk, apparently you can be like an independent contractor, so you can work for so CM Punk works for, I believe, the station, and so whatever station has like a contract with WWE, he's working for, or some shit like that. And he doesn't necessarily work for WWE. So he speaks up a lot about like the politics that go on, and like,
because he can,
because he can, and other wrestlers really can't. Yeah. So like, and that's the reason why a lot of wrestlers are trying to go independent. Because of the whole because WWE is so big now, like, there's a lot of politics involved in it, and that was one of them, was the whole Saudi Arabia thing, and and then they got,
Imagine, you remember like how back then when like wrestling was mad politically incorrect and shit.
Right. You know what? I remember the last, and it's kind of legendary now, the match, but I remember when like, for me, wrestling quote unquote jumped the shark, where I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't do this anymore. Is when, and it was when Eddie Guerrero fought Rey Mysterio in a ladder match, and it was over the custody.
Over the custody?
Over the custody of their son, or it's like I think it was Eddie's son.
Chavo?
I think so. And then Rey and fucking Mysterio fucking he challenged them to a ladder match for the custody of his son.
I think I kind of remember that.
You remember that?
Was it because like supposedly like the story was that Eddie was gone, and that Rey Mysterio fucking,
like, he was like a surrogate father.
Yeah, he like kind of raised them, and he's like, well, I'm more of a father than you were to him.
Wow.
Yeah. And then at the end they both decide, we're homies.
Yeah, it's just that because like at that point I already knew like wrestling was fake, but it was still fun to watch because it was. But at that point I was like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Hey, have you guys?
And then he died, and then Eddie Guerrero died, and I remember that, and then that's kind of where like I lost interest in wrestling. R.I.P. What was I gonna say? There was another one too. Oh, I remember. This was earlier on when I was, because that happened in high school. This was earlier on when I was like still maybe elementary, middle school. It was Triple H and I think The Rock right? They were enemies. I forget, but
Triple
I
H
remember.
And the Rock. Well, Triple H was an enemy to a lot of people.
Yeah, because he was a bad guy. Yeah, he was a bad guy. I remember Triple H.
He was the villain.
Yeah, he was always the villain.
Yeah, there was somebody. I don't know who it was. But he's in the ring calling out Triple H, and then Triple H, they play this video, and Triple H is like in a hotel room in a bed, right? And he's like there, and he's got the sheet right there, and he's right there. He's like, yeah, and he's calling him out. He goes, yeah. And then anyways, long story short, a broad comes out from under the blanket, and it's the guy's like girlfriend or wife or something, and she comes out from it, and he like grabs her. He's like, yeah, I got your bitch or whatever it says. And I remember thinking even then, like, that was pretty hardcore. It's this Channel 13.
That shit, wrestling is like a male soap opera.
Yeah, really.
I remember there was a lot of times where they would do like wrestlers that were injured, supposedly, like they weren't like real injuries, but they would have them in the hospital, and then they would show clips of them chilling, like they're like, all right, well, I'm gonna take care of them. This when I get back, I'm gonna do this, and that, and then whoever their enemy was would usually like pop in, like pretend he was the nurse, and then just was like, "What's up?" And then just start fucking him up.
Fuck him up on the bed.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
Okay. I seen this video the other day where there was some dudes getting into a fight, like in a pizza joint, and then like this other fool just comes. He's like, bah! Like he fucking slapped that motherfucker so hard, like he did a Ric Flair slap.
Wait, this was a video you saw?
Yeah, it was a video, and then at the end of the video, like as soon as the fool gets smacked, like he falls back, hits his head on the table, and then fucking falls forward.
How about the video?
And then you just see Ric Flair like, woo!
Yeah. How about the video of which one was I thinking of right now? I just lost it. It was in my head. I lost it.
That Ric Flair woo though. How about how like if somebody like if you're mad at somebody and then, like especially like if you like let's say you're playing a video game or a competition and then you lose and then they just start going woo woo.
That shit pissed me off, man. I'd be like, motherfucker.
Oh my god. I remember there's a meme floating around and it was like remember everyone used to get in trouble on the schoolyard for doing this and it was G Generation X and they were like, yeah, like remember if you did that and they caught you doing that at school, like you would get in trouble. Like, oh, it was like saying a swear word or something.
Fuck.
At least where I went to school.
Yeah, I don't know. I was still too young for that. I think.
I was already too old for that.
I remember. Yeah, no, that's when.
Like I remember,
that's when I was watching wrestling.
Yeah, I remember it, but we were like, fuck, probably like 5th grade, 4th grade maybe, and then like it would be, like. We just wouldn't do things like that, especially being in a Catholic school.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, that's why. But that's why, because I went to public school, they would do it, but you would get in trouble, But it was like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I remember it was what were they called? D Generation X. That was Triple H.
Yeah.
X-Pac.
No, Bret Michaels.
X-Pac.
Was it Bret Michaels or Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, Shawn Michaels.
Check, it was Bret Hart.
Bret Hart, but he wasn't.
Died.
He wasn't. No, that was Owen Hart who died.
Yeah.
But no, I'm talking about G Generation X. Scotty Too Hottie, was he in it?
No, he was. He was with. Damn,
the other guys.
Rikishi. Yeah, they were the. It was him.
Scotty Too Hottie.
Too Sexy, I think it was. His name was.
Yeah, I forget.
I forgot the name of their crew, but they were more like a dance crew, kind of like.
Yeah,
they were
just
fucking around. Jersey Shore fools.
He would do the worm.
Yeah,
they were like Guidos.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what Guidos were back then, though.
That's a fucking racist term.
Oh, Guido?
Yeah.
I thought I was talking about like Jersey Shore.
Yeah, but
yeah, it is.
Fucking.
Nah, for Italians.
That's why you just. That's why I just refer to it as the Jersey Shore type of look.
Never mind. Wow, let's just move on. I was gonna say something else.
No, but in Degeneration X, it was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, X-Pac, Road Dogg.
I don't even remember those fools.
Yeah, Road Dogg, and I believe Mr. Ass.
Remember
Mr. Ass.
I remember. There's another meme I seen where it's like the biggest lie you were ever told, and it was that Undertaker and Kane were brothers.
Oh yeah.
Remember everyone believed that for some reason. And then the other one was that was another one. I was just damn, it's fucking weed, dude. It just wipes my memory.
It happens.
Oh man.
You're just making room for new data, that's all.
Yeah. What else was there? I don't know. Remember when Undertaker turned into the American Undertaker? He would come on
that's right. And it would play Bad to the Bone, right?
No, it would play that Kid Rock song. It was a Kid Rock. No, not Ball with the Ball. It was the other one. Because I'm a cowboy. Something like that.
Was it that?
Yeah, I think it
was Bad to the Bone.
Or American Badass. No, it was American Badass. by Kid Rock. I forget how that song goes, but I'm pretty positive.
I never really saw wrestling that much, just a little bit every now and then.
Man, we used to watch wrestling all the time.
I remember The Rock versus Stone Cold. Man, that was such
Clash of the Titans right there, dude, even to this day.
Because it was really like the old, not really an old generation, but like an older generation versus like the new generation kind of people that watched wrestling.
Yeah.
And it was also two different types of wrestlers.
That was pretty much like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Like, that was like
and also like there was some background that I watched a documentary on Stone Cold, and that was like his last match because I think he was like his neck. Yeah, his neck was fucked up, and the doctor pretty much told him like you cannot have another neck injury because if not, you're done. And
like The Wrestler. You ever seen the movie The Wrestler?
Yeah. Fucking Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke. Yeah. That's a good movie.
That's a pretty good movie.
Great ending too.
So when I watched that documentary, I remember watching it and then going on YouTube and watching that match again and how. Like, yeah, man, it got me. Like, it fucking got me. I almost cried.
Well, it's funny too.
So good.
Oh my God. Because there was have you seen the Andre the Giant documentary? Came out on HBO. You might be able to look it up if you haven't seen it on Go. Anyways,
a while back.
That one was really good too, and it talks about what's his name, his final match, which was against Hulk Hogan, and he was essentially it was like him passing on the torch. Like Hulk Hogan's like the face of wrestling because Andre the Giant was like the face of wrestling through like the early days, and so they talk about the match how. It was like written out. It was almost like a play. Like every single move is written out beforehand. Everything is choreographed, right?
Yeah.
So Andre the Giant, like he writes out the match or whatever, and he gives it to Hulk Hogan, and it's like I forget. It's like he wrote it, but he didn't write an ending, so nobody knew how the match was gonna end. Not even Hulk Hogan, if he was gonna let Hogan win or whatever. So it goes like this whole backstory of the match, and then at the end they show how it ends up, how Hogan ends up beating him, but how he kind of let it happen because that was him passing the torch or whatever, and the line, and it's the same thing I saw, and I was all like, ah!
Yeah, well, yeah, because in that Stone Cold and that Stone Cold match, when Stone Cold's down and he gets rock bottomed, he looks up with a bloody face and he's like out. He gets pinned, and then the Rock is like walking out with the belt, and then like they say like you don't catch it right away, but after watching the documentary and I watched back and you can see this where like you look up and you see like so Stone Cold's like on the mat. And then the Rock's walking out like he's all fucked up. He's walking out, and then they go back to Stone Cold on the mat. He just kind of looks up and he just smiles, like all bloody, just smiles at the Rock.
That was just like stamp of approval, like I give it to you.
Rattlesnake, no. The rattlesnake. Remember what they call him?
Yeah, 316.
Have you seen that meme? I think I brought this up in the other podcast where it's like, every person when the Uber driver's about to arrive and it's them and it's Stone Cold and just like
what did the Rock used to say? What was his catchphrase?
If you smell what the Rock's saying, right? If you smell what the Rock. To me, that was like the best coming in like walking in song just because of the intro, because it would just be like if you smell, and everyone would be like ah.
Do you remember how much fear people would get though, like from Stone Cold's intro, because it was that breaking glass from Disturbed?
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
Fuck wrestling, gotta love it. Good times.
Man.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Kind of high.
2020, baby.
Still high.
Hey, I'm still stoned. I smoked some more. Anyways, we're actually coming up on an hour. We're probably like around 50, man, or 53 if I had to say.
Man.
Any final thoughts, Jrat?
Man, fuck. I know you guys were like talking shit about people that are like 2020 is my year, guys. We're gonna do this.
No, well, you know,
I mean, like it is kind of annoying, but at the same time, like I'm kind of feeling like a collective. Yeah, like everyone's feeling really motivated.
I was gonna say like 2020 does really feel like I don't know if it's a mindset or if just me fucking just going with the whole vibes of you know everyone else, but I really do feel like 2020 is just like a clean slate. Like here we go into a new decade. Though. It's not. It really isn't.
It isn't.
It isn't.
All the shit you've done up to this point still happens.
Yeah, it's still there.
Still exists.
You know. It's still there. But on the next 10 years going on, who's gonna give a fuck about what happened?
Hey, you're right. You're right.
And you know what though? I feel like everybody is trying to make the best of like a shitty situation because
that's
the
true.
world isn't going.
The world is fucking
that great.
There was a video
but,
I seen. I don't know who it was, but I think it was an Iranian official, maybe even whoever's running Iran. I was gonna say Irania.
Wow.
And
wow.
Anyways, he pretty much says that he's counting like a group of people that when we say death to America or whatever, he goes, we're talking about American people who run America. He goes, we don't have a quarrel with American people. We have a quarrel with their officials and how they're, being shitty.
Rightfully so.
And it's like, fuck, I don't know. I long for the days when we all just trusted in the government. It seemed like a simpler time,
You never were able to trust.
Obviously, you never read history because no one's ever trusted.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. That post World War II, I mean, they were all about the government. It wasn't until Vietnam that the United States started to be like, wait a minute, what the government isn't like.
Yeah, but even then, there was people before that because right after World War II, there was the Big Red Scare, which was like everyone was afraid of communism, and the government capitalized on that and made everybody afraid of communists.
Which raised patriotism.
Which I'm not,
Then you have 9/11 afterwards. Fast forward, raising patriotism again.
Fuck.
Now you have.
Well, at least fucking the Red Scare, like no fucking bunch of people didn't die.
Yeah, you're talking about people who were put in jail. Just they would call you, this guy's a communist, and then. There you go. You're gone.
But did they die?
Yes, they did.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah, they did.
My bad, Jesus. I know everything.
During the Cesar Chavez, protests and stuff like that. A lot of those Latino or Chicanos that were protesting, a lot of them were called communists, and a lot of them were like treated as like.
Same with Japanese people.
Yeah.
Yep. And then that's fucking Walmart.
Ironically,
Walmart became Walmart because of the main person of Walmart was like a general in
really?
In the internment camps, Japanese internment camps, and then they started fucking getting subsidies from the government, and they still do.
Yeah.
So, fucking Walmart.
Fucking Walmart.
Get your deals.
Isn't it already known that Walmart is like the worst?
Fucking crooked.
Yeah, like the worst corporation out there.
I just can't stop shopping there.
Goddamn those prices.
The prices. That's how they get you. Like
they got nice shit. Sometimes they have nicer shit than a supposed like H&M or something that's supposed to be like high quality.
It's just like how you were saying now. Like they don't tell us what to do. They just influence or put us in positions. They put us in the circumstance where we have to make a choice. Or
exactly. The equation is the equation for manipulation: choice and the free will, the ability to make those choices. It's up to us, or so we think.
I guess that's the conclusion.
Advertisements and all that shit manipulates your free will.
Right. There's an influence, but it's not direct control. It's influence, and it's manipulation.
Yeah.
Scary.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, guys. To 2020, they can't control me, motherfucker. Next, we're gonna be seeing UFOs and shit because the Space Force got to get put into use.
Damn. Right. Pretty soon they're gonna be like, we had aliens the whole time. I'll tell you a quick alien story real quick.
Okay.
I read it in a book.
Oh, I thought you read it on Reddit.
No. I read it in a book. I know, right? That book called Beyond the Pale Horse.
I heard
Behold the Pale Horse. I always say Beyond. Behold the Pale Horse. It's a hard book to read, but it's about a guy. It's like the guy who really blew the whistle on the government. It's like government's it's fucked up. Like they're doing crazy shit. So most of the book is a lot of it is just documents that are just Xeroxed into a book, and it's all these declassified documents about like mind control and all these different things.
Real quick though, too, a lot of those documents, like I think this when Trump first got into office, they released some CIA documents. They're like, oh, we're gonna release them so everybody can read them. But a lot of the times when those documents get released, they black out some stuff. So there was a bunch of documents with like 3-4 words and everything's just black.
That's insane.
That, you know what that was for, right? So that way you could shut people up. And give them the
documents. But then isn't anyone gonna say like, but everything's black?
Yeah, a lot of people did, but what can you do? Anyway, continue.
So it's kind of a hard read because you're reading straight documents. It's not meant for your reading pleasure, it's just information. So, but in the forward, he tells his story of when he saw a UFO, and he was in the Navy, I believe. This guy who wrote the book, who they killed, by the way.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was murdered. But like they got him like you know, he was on the run for like tax evasion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I'll tell you how he died real quick. He was on the run. He died. The book came out in the 80s, I think. They gunned him down.
Milton William Cooper.
Yeah, Bill Cooper. Bill Cooper. His name is. They gunned him down in 2001. They like cornered him at his house in Arizona or something. And it was like the Arizona police.
Yeah, I think
they cornered him and they said, "Come out peacefully." And they were getting for like tax evasion, but he knew that if he surrendered, like that they were gonna. That's it. He would just disappear. So he ended up. He had a gun and he just went out. Fucking. What do they call it?
Mexican cop.
Yeah, like a Mexican standoff. He just went out like.
Damn, like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance.
Yeah, pretty much. He just went out blaring, bah, bah, bah. They just lit him up, and then he died. So the guy was a badass, no doubt. But
yeah, I don't know why they call it a Mexican standoff because you ain't gonna just fucking.
No,
run
Mexican
out.
standoff is
Mexican
when
standoff
they stand in front of each other and everybody has like there's like a three-way like and everybody's just standing.
Right. Well, pretty much you have a gun and I have a gun, and
He was in a standoff, but he came out shooting.
Right. Whatever. Blaze of glory. So
gung ho.
There's So anyways, back to this. So he in the forward of that book, he says how he was in the Navy, and that they were above water, right, and that he was like the lookout. Like there's shifts when they're not submerged, they're on the water, and he's on the lookout.
Ships, I'm sure ships are not submerged.
No, it's a submarine.
Oh, a submarine.
So they're above, they're at the surface, and he's looking. They're on the lookout, and that he sees this fucking ship, like this. Pretty much a UFO, and it flies into the water, and it's him and this other guy, and they see it and they're like, "Oh fuck, what the fuck was that? Oh shit, this and that." So they go to their superior officer, they tell them what happened, what they saw, and then they say, "Okay, so as soon as they dock, they at the next dock, everyone's allowed to leave the submarine except him and the other guy who he was on the lookout with.
Yeah.
And they have to stay on, right? So everyone gets off and they have to stay on. So they're sitting there and they did it one at a time. And they pretty much sat them in a room separately. These like superior officers came in, said, "Listen, if you fucking tell anyone what you saw, that's it. You're done. You're fucking done. Dishonorable discharge. We're going to fucking ruin your life. Or you keep your fucking mouth shut. Your choice." And they were like, "Okay, for sure."
Then he wrote the book. Then
he wrote the book, and then they fucking, so. But it's a crazy story. Yeah, it's the only actual like narrative in the book. The rest of the book, like I said, is just just like facts. And the other thing about that book, real quick, is the first chapter. I think I might have brought this up before. The first chapter is called "Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars." That's the name of the first. Now, when I first read that, I thought it meant like chemical weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like where they're gassing people. Like, you know, to actually hear bombs going off and shit. You know, chemical warfare. But actually, I was completely wrong. What it is actually is like manipulation warfare, influencing people through television and through radio and media.
Snowden or something like that.
Snowden.
Yeah, where he there's a story about
Edward
him.
Snowden.
Edward Snowden. He was a whistleblower.
Yeah, where like they talk a story of where I think he told the story of where like they had this politician and they needed him to like be on their side for whatever reason, and the CIA took him in, but instead of like interrogating him or like beating him or doing whatever. Instead, what they did was they had a good time with him. Mm-hmm. He like did something where they needed to cover it. They covered it up for him, like, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna take care of it for you." Yeah. And that's and the next day they told him, "We took care of this. You need to do this."
Yeah,
what did they say?
He didn't even do that shit. They just made it seem like
like he did it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know what I mean?
That's what the government is. So why you think fucking Jesus is a shepherd, man? Because we're all his sheep.
Oh, shit.
Jesus? He was a carpenter.
No, Joseph was a carpenter.
Oh, Jesus.
No, he was also a carpenter.
Yeah, he was also a carpenter.
But he was only a carpenter because Joseph was a carpenter.
Right. I don't get out much, so.
All right. The Lamb of God.
Let's wrap this up.
And, I was never mind. I thought of something. No, I remember what I was telling you earlier, and I was like, "How many times am I supposed to turn the other cheek?" And I go, even Jesus went into that one temple and started flipping tables, and he's Jesus, for God's sakes.
It also got him crucified. Let's not forget.
Well, shit, Anyways, way to go, Jesus. And J-Rat.
Hey, man. You know, my name is Jesus, but I'm not the one you praise.
No, definitely not.
All right, well, thank you guys. Welcome back.
2020, new year.
Season
subscribe.
2. Season 2.
Subscribe and click that bell button, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And give us a like.
And give us a like.
It helps us out a lot.
You know, I don't like to like videos because it makes like a playlist of your liked videos. And like, usually when I see a video, I don't watch it over again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then I feel like it's just like.
But you guys
like,
are not reps. Don't do that.
Yeah, but you're not me though.
Yeah.
You're millennials. You're Gen Z, so you.
It creates a liked fucking playlist, but
right.
Other shit that you can.
Just give us that like. It helps.
Just like fucking videos, man. How you expect people to like your shit?
I don't know the internet.
All right, guys.
I'm not a science guy.
JRatMonster.com. Holla at your boy.
Woo, yeah.
He's gonna drop something soon, right?
Yes, I've been saying it. Been procrastinating. But it's coming, and when it comes, it's going. You better be ready with your helmets.
It's gonna come hard like the snow in LA.
It's gonna blow your mind.
And we're gonna be the only one with the snow plow.
Yeah.
Woo! All right, later.
Later.